Let's talk about tunnels. Not that. Nope, not that kind of tunnels. MCP tunnels. It's a new feature that we actually launched in Claude Console. It's available for Claude Platform starting last week that allows anyone to expose MCP servers that run inside their own network boundary, that allows them to connect those servers to Claude Managed Agents without having to deal with any of the firewall configuration, port forwarding, managing open ports, which is complexity that nobody wants to touch unless they absolutely have to. And there's a lot of security ramifications that I'm not going to get into in this video. But the gist of it is that it enables you to use your MCP servers that you already have, or maybe you're going to create, and still keep them within your own network boundary and connect them to cloud infrastructure. So we're going to see how this works today. And to get started, I will say that we have extensive documentation. So if you go to the platform.claude.com/docs, you can go to MCP tunnels, you can look at the overview, and because this is a research preview, you can also request access. So you can just click this link here and get access directly to this capability. So I'll allow list you if you have an org ID, so just let me know. Now, also, we have guidance on how to deploy this in various infrastructure layouts. So if you have a Kubernetes cluster, you use Docker Compose, all of that is here. But I'm going to focus specifically on a quick start because I want us to go through this very quickly so you can see it in action. I do not want to drag this on. To get started, we're going to go ahead and create a tunnel first through the console. So I'm going to go to my Claude, platform console, and I'm going to click on New Tunnel in the MCP Tunnels view. You'll see this preview once you're actually in the list of folks that have access to this. And again, sign up through the docs. The link is there. I'm going to click New Tunnel, and I'm going to give it a video prod tunnel. This is just a name for me to identify it. I can also optionally set up workload identity federation for programmatic access. This is one of the ways in which you can securely access the tunnel without having to mint API tokens. We actually don't support API tokens. There is a tunnel token that's a little bit different, but this is the secure way. I'm going to do a deep dive maybe later for what workload identity federation actually is, but know that this is something that you can also configure here that allows you to take your identity provider's token, for example, if you're using like workload identity such as inside a Kubernetes cluster, exchange that for an Anthropic short-lived token, and then do the tunnel configuration. So you can do this if you flip the switch, and you can kind of do the set up the federation rule, the issuer, the service account, and all the bells and whistles that come with that. But again, that's the complexity we're not going to be tackling in this video. We're just going to create the tunnel. When I have the tunnel created, what happens is behind the scenes, we'll provision all the infrastructure that is needed for this tunnel to work, except your own configuration that is specific to your own organization. So when the tunnel is created, I have my URL. Great. I have my tunnel token that I just mentioned that we're going to be using for deployment here. And I have some of the metadata like the tunnel ID that I might be using. Also, we have an important section here. The tunnel is not active. Notice that it has this like need certificate here. The tunnel is not active until I set up the certs that allow the essentially the termination of the TLS connection with your own certs. This is something that we did not provide because you maintain the end-to-end pipe. Basically, we provide the infrastructure and you lock down the traffic. So to show you how this works, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to see if I can just jump to my terminal real quick. And we're going to make sure that we have everything up and ready. And for this, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to follow the quick start step by step. One of the things that I've intentionally looked at the quick start is that you can walk through this doc and you can just copy and paste every single code block and get it up and running in literally minutes. I think I timed it and it was something like under 3 minutes end to end if you just speed run through it. So we're not going to speed run through it. I'm just going to caveat this by saying that this should be working very, very quickly, and you should see it in action very, very quickly. So first things first, we need to set up the baseline folder for our deployment because I'm testing this on a local machine. And by the way, if you're using Windows or Linux, things will just work. Again, we have commands here that you can just switch between Windows and Linux and Mac OS, of course. things will just work. And if they don't, let me know in the comments. We'll fix this ASAP. So first things first, I need to get the basics, and that is the tunnel domain and tunnel token as environment variables, because we're going to be using it downstream in some other commands that you'll see shortly. So I'm just going to copy this. And because I'm going to be dealing with tokens, I'm not going to be showing them on the screen. So you will just have to believe me that I am dealing with tokens here. So I need to go to the console here and the data that it requires, right? Like if I look at the screen and you see the tunnel domain and tunnel token, all of these things can be obtained from the console here. This is the tunnel domain. This is the tunnel token. I just need to add them as environment variables for my scripts to be able to actually use them. So I'm just going to do just that without you seeing it. And you will just have to trust me that I have the data. All right, so we have the domain. I'm going to put the domain here. And domain itself is not necessarily secret, but I just do not want to show you the token. So we're going to open the token just a little bit, copy it, and then insert it, and then we're good. And we're going to set those as environment variables by just pasting in a terminal and then clearing the terminal. And I think we're good. Now I don't have to worry about this, and I can just show you my screen again. So I have this set up. I've done the step of getting the environment variables. Next, as I mentioned, we need the certificates that are used to terminate the inner TLS handshake. So for this, you could, of course, run your own certificate generator. Like I'm sure many organizations have their own process by which you generate your own certs. For us, it's going to be very, very simple, and it's running just OpenSSL in your box. So I'm just going to copy this command, go back to the terminal, paste it, and enter. That's it. We now have a cert. What we need to do now is, though, upload it manually to the console. If you're doing any of the existing deployments with Helm or Docker Compose here that we guide you through, a lot of the stuff is done by one of our setup CLIs. So you don't have to worry about this, but it's a little bit more involved and requires you to actually set it up on real or real-ish infrastructure. In our case, because I'm writing this on a dev box, it's much easier to just do it locally. So we're going to go ahead and go back to my tunnel configuration here. And I'm going to click Add Certificate, and I'm going to click Choose File, and we're going to go to MCP Tunnel, Data, and we have CA-CRT that was generated just a minute ago. This is our file. So we're just going to take the CA-CRT, Add Certificate, and now our tunnel is active. Now we're ready to experiment. So what we're going to do for the experiment, though, is now, of course, in any organization, you probably have MCP servers that already run in your infrastructure, right? So for those things, you would have to do some configuration that we'll get to in a second. But because I don't, I have a dummy, a simple MCP server that is just a Python script that responds with hello world. There's just one tool. That's all. It uses fast MCP. As you can see from the configuration here, it's very, very simple. There's not a lot of complexity involved there. And when I paste this in my terminal, what this does is just writes this file to disk. That's all this command does. We write this file to disk. We go back. And now we need to also set up the appliance itself, because the tunnels don't necessarily work by themselves. You set it up in a console, but you still need to deploy the pieces of infrastructure inside wherever the tunnel is going to be running. In our case, it's our dev box, but we have two components here. We have the proxy configuration, right, that sets up the tunnel domain. Remember I mentioned the environment variables. That's where they're used. It sets up the for TLS where the cert file is and the key file. It sets up the routes for our MCP server. And also it sets up or writes to disk the Docker Compose file. That if you're familiar with Docker Compose is not anything really foreign to you. If you're not, it basically sets up the configuration for what are the components that it needs to assemble to make things work. And in our case, we have our own image that we provide to you that you can use. It's called the MCP proxy. And of course, we have some configuration mounts here. And also we have Cloudflare D, because at this time it's using Cloudflare to set up the end-to-end tunnel. And of course, our hello MCP, which is using the Python image, right? Because it's a Python script. And then we do a pip install quiet and then run our server. That's all it does. That's as complex as this Docker Compose for the quick start really is. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the terminal. We're going to copy and paste this. We're going to copy this, go back, paste the file, because a lot of the quick start again is optimized for copy paste. And when you see these Docker Compose and MCP proxy config files, using cat and then the setup that we have here just writes those files directly to disk. So if you press enter, those files are created. You can do ls and you'll see that you'd have now a Docker Compose, hello server, you have the data folder, right? So I can do like a cat Docker Compose and you'll see the render Docker Compose. So this is just the Docker Compose itself. Now, let's go back to the quick start. So we have the compose file, we have the proxy file. That's all. Really, that's just kind of where it ends. So now what you can do is just copy this snippet here. I'm just going to do that. Go back to the terminal because we already have all the pieces set up and just paste it. This will bring up basically the stack and we'll see things working. It's going to pull the images. Of course, it needs to do that first, but all the images are public here. Again, not a lot of really custom work for you to do other than wait for Docker to actually set things up and set the route. And once you see this configured, you're done. So now for us, the goal is to go and test this out. We have a Docker container running. So if I do a Docker PS, right, we have our things up and running on our local machine here. This is not on any production cluster, but it's good enough for testing. So we're going to go here to my MCP Tunnels view. And what I want to do here is go to sessions because we're going to create a new session, right, for our Claude Managed Agent. So we're going to create a new session, give it a name. So it can be something like test tunnel session. And then we have our agents that I already have set up, but I'm going to create a new one because it's a new session. Why not have a new agent? New agent video. And then I'm going to also add connections to my MCP server. And here I can just click on plus MCP server. And when I select a server, I'll see my tunnel at the top of the list. So I can just select that. And the way this is done is that we actually have a subdomain and path to fill out. And a lot of these are going to be coming from the quick start. So if you look back here in the configuration, we have our echo. This is going to be the subdomain that we have for our MCP server. And then because we're running fast MCP, a lot of the stuff just runs on /MCP. So that's kind of the standard here. So we're going to type in echo and then MCP here as a default. And ignore this needs vault because it's just a recommendation, but we don't actually need to set up the vault. So we can create the session. And then here, for us to validate that this actually works, remember what the server does. We go here. It has hello world, right? Like it's a hello world server. So say hello to Den. Let's say that. Say hello to Den with MCP. And if all goes well, we'll see a tool call. And in this case, the tool call is going to be coming from internal MCP server. And we have this running here. Name is Den. And it says hello Den. There you go. It's a MCP server that runs inside my network boundary that I did not expose to the public internet. But with the help of MCP Tunnels, I can now access it directly from Claude Managed Agents. I think this is really cool. I think this is going to enable a lot of the customer scenarios that we've seen being asked about. I'm very excited for you to go and try this out. Go to our docs, click the sign up link. It's a very, very basic sign up form. Add your name, your org ID, and we'll get you the preview so you can test this out and see how it works for yourself. Give us your feedback. And if you are curious how MCP Tunnels work, just let me know more in the comments and we'll help improve the docs. Until the next one.